Alright, so I hope you have been learning Flask app as we go along with each video. So in this video, we are going to improve our account page. So let's right click our Code Jana Flask folder and open with code. You can also open VSCode first and then go to file and open folder and then open that folder. Alright, so now let's try to run our server. So let's activate the virtual environment first. Great. File. So Python run.py. Wonderful. Now control click on it. Alright, so currently is it working? So let's log in and myth@gmail.com, and that's 123456 password. So log in and great. So we are logged in, and now our account page is currently just this blank page. Alright, with only this H3 heading account page. So what we want to do is we want a profile image on our account page. After that, we want to display user information on this page, and finally we want to let the user update those things. Alright, so I'm going to start with uploading the image because updating the data is really easy. Alright, so let's get started. So this is our routes.py. And uploading an image on the server is really easy. It's just like copying a file from your system to, well, the server, which is in fact another system. So in our account page, what we need to do? First of all, we need to create a form that accepts the image, and then in our account.html, which is this right here, account.html, we are going to display a button to upload that image. All right, I hope I'm not losing you so far. So we are going to start off with account.html. Right after this div element, we're going to display some fields. So in our register.html, we have already created this wonderful form that accepts username, email, password, confirm password, all of those fields. So we are going to copy this particular layout from this starting div to this ending div. All right, let's copy everything from here. And now click on account.html, and after this closing div, we are going to paste that. Now this form currently has a lot going on, and I don't want to confuse you or throw a lot at you right now, but if you have created those forms, then you already know what each of these is doing. So first of all, I'm going to just delete this join today. All right, and I'm going to use Jinja templates to pass this legend variable here, and in routes.py in account, I'm going to use that variable legend, and then we are going to pass this as a string. So, well, account details. So what's going to happen is on this page where this account page is listed, now we are going to see a beautiful account details right beneath this, because we have not deleted this account page. So I don't think we need that anymore. So I'm just going to select it and delete it. Wonderful. All right, so this legend variable will take the value from this legend variable here. Great. So, okay, now let's begin deleting the things that we currently do not need. So we are not going to work with username for now. We are going to work with picture. So I'm going to delete this div and email as well, along with password and confirm password. So basically we are going to delete everything. All right, so now you have this clean looking form with only the legend and the submit button. If I were to refresh this page, let's try to run our server. Now the server is on, okay, so it did not detect any error, but if I were to open our website, it would say that form not defined. Since things are correlated, we need to have a form created in forms.py as well. So let's do that. In forms.py, let's create a class account update and then form. All right, and it is going to instantiate from Flask form. Wonderful. And now eventually by the end of this video, we are going to have first name, last name, username, email and picture as part of this account update form. But for now, I want you to focus on only the picture submission. All right, so let's create just picture. Great. So picture is not your usual text based or this password based field. it is a special file field. So that's what we are going to do. Let's scroll to the top. And it is not a property of WT form. It is a property of Flask_WTF module. So from Flask_WTF dot file. All right, we are going to import file field. This field is going to accept that file. All right, and then we are also going to include file allowed. This field will ensure that only these types of files are allowed to be uploaded. All right, now at the bottom, so the variable currently is picture. All right, so this is our file field so that it will allow us to upload a file. Wonderful. So we have instantiated that, and the first one is obviously the label. So the label is update profile picture, and that should be as a string. All right, so after the label, we are going to have some validators in place. Great. So validators accepts a list, so we are going to provide it a list. The list is file allowed that we have already imported above. So the file allowed, let's say for image we only want JPG and PNG file, so only these two types of file are going to be allowed. And at the time of form submit, Flask is going to look at the document that you are uploading, and if the extension doesn't match JPG or PNG, it is going to fail. The file will not be uploaded. All right, so after this we only need the submit button. As I said that eventually we are going to grow this class. For now, let's keep it like that. So we need the submit button, which is exactly the same as this. So I'm just going to copy and paste it. So it's a submit field. We are only going to change this. So let's say submit, or a better one is update account. Wonderful. So now we have this form ready. Now we can actually import this form in our routes.py. So let's click on that, and this is our really blank account route. See, it does not have anything. We are just going in the function, and then we are rendering the template account.html. So let's import that form. So form is equal to account update form. All right, so we have instantiated that, and as always, from Code Jana _flask.forms module, import all of these forms, and after this account update form. Wonderful. So let's cross check if it's the right name. So account update form. Great. So now we can use form is equal to form, just like we have been doing all this time with other forms. The same is going to go there. So let's just scroll back up. All right, so now we have instantiated the form, and we can use this form like so. So form is equal to form. Let's fix these indentation. There was a squiggly line at the right corner here. Okay, so this will let us display the form, but it will not look correct. For that to happen, we are going to display it in HTML. So after this legend, we are going to display that form just before this field set. So we are going to create a form group. So let's create one with the class of form-group. Wonderful. So in this form group class, we are going to have that form.picture.label, which is obviously the label of that form. So since the label is actually not going to matter a lot, but we are still going to display that. All right, after this we are going to display the field. So form.picture, and we are going to give it a class of form-control-file, which is a Bootstrap class. All right, so let's do this. And in similar fashions, when we got the errors of our previous form, that's what we're going to do in this one as well. So let's write a conditional statement. If form.picture.errors, and make sure to end this if statement first before writing inside of it. So end if. All right, so if there is an error, we are going to loop through those errors. So for error in form.picture errors, Now we are going to display those errors, but again, before writing anything, just end this for, because we often forget to end these blocks and then it gives an error. So we are going to span a class of text danger that will give us a red text. Okay, so wonderful, that span is closed as well. And now within this we are going to display the error, and with each error it should be displayed in a new line, so we are going to give it a break tag. Right, so this form group is created. It is going to show us a field to upload the image. So let's just try to run the server. Python run.py. So it is working. Now let's open it. Okay, let's click on account. Okay, so now we have these buttons to browse for an image and then update our account, right? However, we have not created methods to accept, means posting anything via this route. So this is our account route, and just like this register login route where we have defined these methods for posting information to our form and getting information from our form, we need these methods. So after this route, just type in comma and then create a methods list. This methods list is going to, well, it's a list, all right? So just give it get and then post. The order doesn't matter. You can type post first and get later. The order doesn't matter. Okay, so now this route can get information from the form and then post information from the form as well. So wonderful there. So let's just try to do that. Let's just cross check our server, and yes, it is broken. Wonderful. Let's refresh it. Great. So let's browse it and then try to upload this, and mind you, it is not going to be uploaded, but still the page was refreshed, but we have not seen anything. Now let's set up the functionality to accept that image and then display that image. For that, let's just change our account.html as well, and we are currently not concerned about the aesthetic look of our site. For example, I'm just going to create another container class, so dot container, and similar fashion I'm going to give it a width of 50, so 50% width. And now I'm going to create an image tag, so image and then emit abbreviation. All right, so I'm just going to press enter, and there we go. So it is expecting a source URL. For now we can either press hash so that it doesn't go anywhere, and this is where we are going to give it the URL where our particular image is located. And believe me, it is really simple to do that. It just looks complicated, but again, it's really simple. But for that to happen, we are going to accept few encoding methods in this form, because we are not just going to work with text form, we are also going to work with this complex image format. So type encode type, this one, and then as you can see, VSCode is already suggesting us some information. So if your form only expects a text format, you don't even need to use encode type, all right? You just need to simply type it out. But if you're working with multiple formats in the same form, then you have to use multi-part form data. So I'm going to choose that one, and now we are going to accept that file via this form. So everything is nearly ready. So in routes.py, first of all, we are going to import OS module. So import OS, this is very important. And now we are going to create a special function. All right, so let's create that function, and for now we are going to create that function right here, just above this account route. All right, so let's define a function, save image, and we are going to give it an argument, because this argument will accept that form.picture.data, means the data that comes from uploading that picture. Let's just call it picture file. All right, so we will use this variable to store form.picture.data. Right, please keep in mind that it is very important, so just remember that for a while. All right, so how do we actually save that image? Well, you might be surprised that it is just as simple as doing this. So picture is equal to picture underscore file dot file name and then we are going to create a picture path. Now this picture path is actually the location of your server. This is not related to the computer you are currently working on. This is actually related to the project path of your project. Alright, just let that sink in. We are talking about Code Jana _ Flask folder and its root path. It is very important, so let's just do that. So we are going to use that OS module that we have imported above. We are going to join some paths together. So let's do that. So os.path.join. Now every path that you write inside of this is going to be joined into a complete path. Means a URL that you can access from your browser, and that will display the image that you have uploaded. Alright, the concept is this, that you are giving it the complete URL of that image. So let's do that. Now, do you remember that app variable that we have been working with since our init.py file? This app.config, this app dot and everything. So this app variable initialized this Flask application. So it also has a method called root path, which gives us the location of this project. So we're going to do just that, app.root_path. So that will initiate the starting of this whole picture path. All right. Then enter a comma, and further, where do you want to save this file? So I'm inside my static folder here, and then I have these theme pics, but I don't want to mess it up. So click on static and right click it and create a new folder inside of it and name it profile pics. Wonderful. So I want to save this picture inside static folder, then profile_pics folder. So that's exactly what we are going to do, and type it in string format. So static / and then profile_pics. And remember to not add a slash at the front or at the last of this name. So let's do this. Finally, what do we need to do? This picture variable that we have included here. Now when you upload this file from this form that you're seeing here, that information is going to create a file object. And when you access the methods, it will have a file name method, which will give us its name with the extension. So you already have all the information inside this picture variable. So that's what we're going to use. So the final part of this path is the name of the file with extension. So picture variable. Great. So now what this os.path.join is going to do, it's going to append the root path of this project, and then static profile pics, and then the complete name of this picture that you have just uploaded with this form. Great. So now the final step is saving this file. So picture_file, which we have got from this variable here. Now if it is confusing to you, how did we come across this variable? Then it is a good question. Well, we have created this variable right here because we are soon going to call this function in our account route. So when we call this function in our account route, we are going to provide it form.picture.data. What is it going to do? It is going to go inside form, which is account update form right here. It is going to go inside of it. Then it is going to fetch that picture variable, which is inside our account update form class. So this one. Then it is going to go inside of it. So we have this file field and everything here. So it has the data related to the file. It's going to go inside of it, and then it is going to accept that data and fill out this form. I hope it is clear. Then please ask me in the comment section below. I'll be happy to clarify it further. So we only need picture_file and access the save method inside of it. So dot save. Now you want a path, okay? It should know where the file will be saved. So we have created this path for it. We have said it that use the picture name and extension, then use this folder, and then use the app root path. All right. So we only need to do picture_path. All right. So now that we have saved our picture, we also want to return the picture's name. So return, and then where did we find the picture name? At the very first of line 18. All right. We have already extracted the picture's name. And now that I think about it, picture underscore name would be more appropriate and more clear. Alright, so return picture underscore name. Now when we call this save image function, it is going to return this picture name, and then we are going to append it to rest of the URL to create this source. And when it happens, you're going to feel like it's magic. Alright, now let's just drop down to our account route. After instantiating our account update form, we are going to check for validation. So if form.validate on submit, which means that all fields have been accounted for, which is very important. Alright, so just drop down to it. So what should happen if the form is validated on submission? Well, we are going to call that function, this one, the save image function. So save underscore image. Now it expects an argument, which is picture underscore file. So we had created that variable there. So whatever information you provide here will be accepted in that variable. So form.picture.data, which I hope is clear to you, that go inside this form, this account update form, which is right here. So go inside this account update form, then go inside this picture variable and grab the data which is available in this field. All right, so that's what this particular statement does. All right, so now we are going to store this information inside, let's say image underscore file. So all right, so what's going to happen? Well, quite simply, it is going to go inside this form.picture.data and spit out the picture's name, while also saving that picture on our server. Now when it happens, we want the current underscore user dot image underscore file. So now what am I doing here? Well, that's a great thing to say. Well, the current user is the logged in user, right? So only logged in users can access their account page, right? We have also included this decorator here. So let's go inside our models.py. Wonderful. So we had created this user model. All right, we had the username, email, and we also had this image underscore file variable. It was created as a column and it was created as a string. All right, so the string could have a name under 20 characters or equal to 20 characters, which is just a name, right? It doesn't have to do anything with any file. It just stores a name. So the default name that we stored there was default.jpg. Now, as you can see, these are all the files here. And can you spot any file related to this default image? No, because there is none. These are background and this profile pics folder we had just created. All right, so that is just a name. So what we are going to do is we're going to access current underscore user, which is saying go inside any user that is currently logged in. Then dot means access its properties. So go inside of it and then bring out this data. So dot image underscore file. So when it goes inside of it, what is it going to do? It is going to bring out this data, this default string. So it will have this default.jpg inside that, and we are going to replace it with the name of actual image that we have just uploaded. So this data, now I hope the process is clear. So current underscore user dot image file. Now this data should be replaced with image underscore file, which is the name of the file that we have extracted from the save image function. Wonderful. So now that that particular data in the database is updated, we are going to commit this change. All right, so db.session.commit. Now we don't have any information to add. We are just changing the information, so you don't need to access db.session.add. We're just simply updating a change, so we only need to have db.session.commit. All right, that's it. So after the change is committed, what we can do is we can refresh the page. So we can do like return a redirect and redirect URL underscore for and access the account page again. So just account function there. So that's it. What it's going to do, it's going to update that image and then it is going to refresh the page and bring back the account page once more. Wonderful. So now the page will be saved. Now how do we access that? Now after the change is committed, now what do you think this statement currently has in itself? Well, it has the information of latest file that we have just uploaded, right? So we can create a URL statement here. So be with me for a while. So we are going to say image_URL is equal to, and make sure that the indentation is right beneath this if statement. This is not a statement that should go under if conditional, all right? It's a separate statement. So image URL is equal to URL for statement. So there. So the first part of it is going to be our folder name. So that's static. Wonderful. And then we're going to access the file name. Wonderful. So file name will be inside our, well, profile_pics. Great. So profile_pics, and press a slash there, because if you don't, then what I'm going to do here is going to just press against profile_pics, because I'm going to concatenate it with the pictures file name, which is stored inside current_user.image_file. I hope everything is fine, and we are going to try to run our server. So let's run it. All right, wonderful. So nothing is broken till now. So browse, click on good.jpg, update account. If our good.jpg, and we are actually seeing it in front of us. So if we are seeing this image here, then we can surely access it and use it in our account.html. So we have already created this image URL here, and all we need to do is pass this in our render template. So let's pass it. So image_URL is equal to image_URL. So now it will be treated as a variable, and this will be replaced with the URL function that we have created here. Now there were obviously two ways. We could pass this name here with the help of this variable and create this URL function in our account.html, but I think this looks much better in practice, so that we can edit anything we want in here and just use this function in here. So let's try to run our server again. Wait, so let's click on account once again. Everything is fresh here, and we didn't even have to do this. So yes, our file is there, which means this functionality is working. And let me just upload a really old photo. So there you go. So the profile image is working flawlessly. Any image that you want on your profile can now be saved. And yes, you can see that every single image that we are uploading is coming inside of this static folder and profile pics folder. So here. And now I would like to mention that if you want to experiment with this further, then you can use the PIL or pillow library from Python, so that you can, mess around with the size and width, height of this image and create a thumbnail as well. So you can just go all out with the image there. I just wanted to show you how to upload image in a Flask application, and now you can use this functionality on every single page that you want it to. Alright, so now our first part of this video is done, and we're going to move on to our second part, which is, believe me, easier than this. It is just to showcase the information that we already have in our database, and then we are going to create some new fields like first name, last name. I just want to complete this whole process. You already know how to create templates. You already know how to create and update information in the database. So we are just going to marry everything together now. So take a break and come back. The second part of this video is going to happen soon.